In less than 24 hours only, everything is going to change. Everything is about to change because BRICS countries, they are about to put their stamp on the de-dollarization of the US dollar. Well, this is the moment which everyone they've been waiting for because there is a lot that is going to take place in this BRICS summit.
BRICS summits are always very special. Special because in the first place they bring together the leaders of the 5 key countries that represent close on to 3 billion people on earth. We all, 5 of us, believe in a multilateral system that is properly governed, where all nations in the world are treated as equals.
But what do we need to expect from all this? Who's coming to this BRICS summit and who's not coming and for what reasons? In this video, we're going to discuss everything with you. But before we get to engage ourselves deeply into this discussion, here is something that you need to know because the President of Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, had spoke about this big event of BRICS. Have listened to what was his message to South Africa and the world.
South Africa's foreign policy has been based on what our forebears inscribed in the Freedom Charter in 1955, when they declared that South Africa shall be a fully independent state which respects the rights and the sovereignty of all nations. South Africa, they continue to say, shall strive to maintain world peace and the settlement of all international disputes by negotiation, not war. This foreign policy approach is also a product of the efforts of leaders such as the late Oliver Reginald Tambo, who mounted a vigorous worldwide campaign to secure global support for our just struggle against apartheid. This put South Africa on the global map in relation to the interests of its people, while the world condemned its apartheid rulers. Indeed, our foreign policy is a matter that is vital to our progress as a nation. Through stronger relations with other countries, manifested through investment and trade relations, we are able to grow our economy, create more opportunities for new businesses, and create jobs. South Africa's foreign policy aims to promote our national interests based on the protection and promotion of our national sovereignty and constitutional order. It is also aimed at improving the well-being, the safety and the prosperity of our citizens and the achievement of a better Africa and a better world. The key pillars of our foreign policy include the promotion of human rights, peace and stability, and the strengthening of trade and investment ties with other countries. This foreign policy stance that we have taken since the advent of democracy has positioned South Africa as a reliable and influential partner on our continent and in the world. This has enabled our country to have friendly and valuable relations with countries around the world at political, diplomatic, trade, investment, sporting, social, and many other levels. It is these principles that guide our participation in BRICS. Together with the members of BRICS, they being Brazil, Russia, India, China, and ourselves, South Africa, BRICS makes up a quarter of the global economy. It accounts for a fifth of global trade and is home to more than 40% of the world's population. BRICS as a formation plays an important role in the world due to its economic power, its market potential, its political influence, and development cooperation. Yet the value of BRICS extends beyond its sheer size. BRICS countries can collectively shape global dynamics, and acting together, it has the potential to drive significant changes in the world economy and in international relations. Together, the BRICS members have used their collective voice to call for a world that is more equitable, balanced, and governed by an inclusive system of global governance.
That is the current president of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa. And as he was talking to South Africans and the world, he had to pass a very strong message. Of course, he was talking about the South Africa foreign policy and their sovereignty. He had to come and talk about all this because of the rumors which was going on lately, when you get to see some countries around the world with the ICC trying to come and challenge the sovereignty of South African people. So that is the reason why the President of the Republic, President Cyril Ramaphosa, had to come forward and make sure that he addressed these matters once for all, with a very big regret, obviously, because when you listen to his message, you will tell that something's not sitting okay, because some of the BRICS leaders, they are not there. And here we're talking about someone such as Vladimir Putin, a man who's supposed to be there, but he could not be there because the so-called ICC, the International Criminal Court, they had launched the arrest warrant against the Russian president. And they have the support of the NATO, USA, who keep on putting a lot of pressure on the ICC, so that ICC will also put pressure on South Africa, that once Vladimir Putin step his feet inside South Africa, he should be arrested. Now, guys, we all saw what happened. We also how these people entertain these matters. We also how they promote all and they do their own propaganda thanks to their own medias. So it was now about time the President of the Republic of South Africa to come and give his point of view in behalf of South Africans about all these matters. Because the moment when it was announced that the President Vladimir Putin is not going to attend this BRICS summit, we also how some people, they were busy criticizing South Africa, saying that no, they had failed to protect President Putin in his arriving in South Africa. Some people, they were even like, no, South Africa refused, they are afraid to be punished by the USA, whom they've been behind all these things of the International Criminal Court and the arrest warrant against Vladimir Putin. So they were like, since South Africa, they are also in a good relationship with the USA when it comes like to the partnership. So they were kind of like, okay, fine. If South Africa refused to arrest Vladimir Putin, that simply means that they are going to stop their relationship with the West. And you guys, we even saw how South Africa have been threatened by this same Western. All because South Africa decided to remain neutral. And for those who always watch me time to time, guys, you will agree with me when I said to you that the right place, according to these people, when I'm talking about these people, I'm referring to the US with its alliance, such as the NATO countries. Everyone who've been fighting Russia through Ukraine. These people, for them, they think that the right place Vladimir Putin can be stopped, the right place that Vladimir Putin can be arrested, that will be South Africa. Do you know why? Well, because according to them, they consider South Africa like one of those African countries that they get to dominate, one of those African countries that they get to go and impose their leadership, one of those countries that they'll go and tell you what to do. If they ask you to jump and the only things you have to say is, Master, how high do you want me to jump? So that was their hope. And they know very well that it's not going to work with other countries, because there is no way China will arrest Vladimir Putin even if the ICC launched a mandate against him. There is no way India, they will have to arrest Vladimir Putin. And in our previous video, I even told you that in upcoming G20 summit that will take place in India, they don't need even to worry, because Vladimir Putin can go there and come back freely. No one will stop him. Do you know why? Because India is not a signer. They did not put any signature in this ICC.
I don't have yet any information to share about any physical visits We would, I think, hope to see President Putin at the G20 Leaders Summit in September. But whether there's a separate visit or not, I don't have anything particular to share.
Things. So they are not even there. And the ICC, they don't have the right to impose on the India. They don't have to tell India what to do when it comes to arrest Vladimir Putin. So there is no way India will arrest Vladimir Putin because that time is already passed. Okay? So, on the other side, we are having Brazil. Brazil as well, they're not going to arrest Vladimir Putin. Not at all. Because they are not also part of the ICC. The only country which is part of this ICC, that would be South Africa. And that did not start today. Do you guys still remember the former president, Sudanese former president Omar Bashir? Do you guys still remember what happened when he came to visit South Africa and the International Criminal Court, they were busy asking for him to be arrested here? And like enough, the man fled the country. By the time when the court approved that he can be arrested in South Africa, it was too late already. So, I believe, that's on my point of view, I believe that was the right moment when this government of South Africa should have started already thinking on how to come out from the ICC, because the ICC does not benefit people of South Africa. The ICC does not benefit even the people of Africa continent, because it is a way that the Open Eye Master, they had managed to put on place so that they will be having a proper control of the African leaders, whereby they will come to you, they will use you as a puppet government, a puppet president. You will be at their service. You will be obeying to everything they will be asking you to do. The moment when things start going sour between you and them, the moment you open your eyes and you want to become a true Pan-African, the moment you want to protect the interest of your people, the moment you want to do things in the right way that Africa will be proud of you, then they will have to find a way to eliminate you by coming up with some false case. And the next things they'll be saying that no, you should be arrested by the ICC. That's what they've been doing. These things of calling so-called ICC, it's been there for some times now, and go and check there, you find out there is more than 17 African leaders who are being captured over there, and not even many of them who already have a proper justice. Now go and ask how many France president, whether it is the current president or former president, ministers who have come to Africa and commit a lot of crime and loot Africa. Go and ask how many of them they've been arrested in this ICC. You're not going to find anyone. Actually, majority of these countries that I'm mentioning, they're not even there. They refuse to sign for that ICC. Go and ask America if they are part of that ICC. Do you know why the US did not want to be part of that ICC? It was only for the one simple reason. And I don't want even to say much about it. But here's someone who had explained exactly why they refused to sign for that ICC.
We are constrained by the ICC in terms of doing that. Putin is a head of state. Do you think that a head of state can just be arrested anywhere? How many crimes have your country committed in Iraq? How many crimes have everyone else who's so vocal today committed in Iraq and Afghanistan? Have you arrested them? You have not.
You know the impact that this stand of yours...
You're making a lot of noise about putting in state of working for peace between Ukraine and Russia, and you failed to resolve the war. Where are the weapons of mass destruction? Tony Blair went to Iraq and claimed that there are weapons of mass destruction. Did you see anybody standing against that in the United Kingdom and Britain? More than millions of people have died in Iraq and Afghanistan, and there are no weapons of mass destruction. We know what the war is about.
Mr. Secretary General,
between Russia and Ukraine. We want peace. That's what is important, so that the world can thrive. And organs and institutions of the world that institute world peace must not be conspicuous by their silence.
You say quite clearly, I would arm Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
You know that the International Criminal Court wants Vladimir Putin to face war crimes charges.
It must start with Tony Blair. It must start with George Bush. It must go to Barack Obama. Then it can go to Putin.
So let's get this straight. You're saying to me that your policy, if you were in power in South Africa, is quite simple. That your enemy's enemy, and it seems you regard the US and its allies as the enemy,
Yes.
your enemy's enemy
Yes.
is your friend. Never mind if he's a suspected war criminal, never mind if the UN and the ICC say they have compelling evidence of Russian war crimes. You don't care. As far as you're concerned, my enemy's enemy is my friend.
You're exaggerating, but another point which you don't want me to go there is that Tony Blair accepted that they were wrong about Saddam Hussein to an extent that he did an apology of a thug, right? You have never called for his arrest. A man admitting that I was wrong. To how many people died there, killed by those people. So all I'm saying is, we are with President Putin because it's not enemy of my enemy. It is an anti-imperialist agenda that says the American dominance and its allies should be undermined at all costs.
The US refused to sign for this ICC for the simple reasons. Because they had committed a lot of crime all over around the world. And if they have to go and put their stamp on it, which means the ICC will have the right to question all these American leaders because of what they have done around the world. Clever as they think they are, they refuse to go and sign for this ICC. Yet, you find some African leaders, they are going there to that International Criminal Court and sign. Some of them, they even went through their parliament and vote for that. What kind of nonsense is that? Something that everyone they're running away from, and you decide just to go and put your signature on it. That is the reason why you see a lot of African countries, we are now stuck. They can't move. They can't do much because the stamp is there already. Vladimir Putin could not attend the BRICS summit in South Africa, all because South Africa is one of the countries who had signed for that ICC. Maybe they should have done like Kenya with the President Uhuru Kenyatta. The man, he was called by that so-called ICC. He went to respond there. The moment they finish up with his case, he came back to his country, he spoke to his parliament. His parliament, they went on and they voted to leave that ICC. Yes, they did vote immediately that Kenya should be out of the ICC. And that happened. So I don't know. From the time of former President Omar Bashir, to this day, I don't know what South Africa, we've been waiting for all this time in order for us to leave these things once for all. So now, Vladimir Putin did not come. It looked like a defeat, in other words. It looked like a defeat for the BRICS leaders. Hence, I salute what Julius Malema said when he said these words.
Comrades, we want to make sure that BRICS is strengthened and BRICS is an alternative to Europe and America. We are with President Putin, and we want to say to President Putin, it is not us South Africans who refused you from coming into the country. It is Ramaphosa, the coward Ramaphosa, who could not guarantee that we will not arrest Putin. We are Putin, and Putin is us, and we will never support imperialism against President Putin. Comrades, America is threatening us with African Growth and Opportunity Act that if we don't arrest Putin, they are going to take away AGOA. They can take away AGOA and leave us with our sovereignty and leave us with our foreign policy. We must have the capacity to take a decision of our own. We call on the President of the People's Republic of China, India and Brazil not to come to BRICS Summit in solidarity with President Putin. They must say, you touch one of us, you touch all of us.
Julius Malema called for BRICS Summit to not come to South Africa in order for them to support Vladimir Putin. Julius Malema even wrote the letters to these BRICS countries asking them to not come, because if they don't come, at least it will have sent a strong message to the West that you are messing up with the wrong person. If you touch one of us, which means you are provoking all of us. And I believe, after all, it was a very good idea. For me, it makes sense. But unfortunately, they did not listen. All right, enough of that. Now that the BRICS is here, what can we expect from all this? What will be discussed to this BRICS summit? Well, as always, there is a lot of things that need to be discussed in this BRICS summit, but there are some basic things that which we had to highlight for you, because it is something that everyone have known already by now. And here we're talking about, number one, has the de-dollarization of the US dollar, because it has been for some times now that BRICS had announced that they are going to bring up their currency. And this currency, it is coming to wipe off the US dollar. That is their goals. And they've been working so hard to make sure that they succeed with their mission. Because of that simple annunciation that they had made a couple of months ago, it had woken up the whole world. All the countries, they are coming forward to join BRICS, because it seemed like all of them, they've been waiting for someone who will have the courage to come out and challenge the US dollar. And now that the BRICS had that courage to come forward and decide to bring out their currency, that was a very big motivation for all these countries. That is the reason why you are seeing them, they are coming in their numbers. You see them applying to join the BRICS, all because they are so desperate, they are dying to see on how the US dollar will collapse, so that they'll keep on start trading in the new currency, which will be the BRICS currency. So that will be one of the topics which the BRICS leaders will have to focus on the most, because they'll want to approve it and start the process already, because they don't want to waste time anymore. Another topic in the agenda, it will be the one of the countries which have to join BRICS. So far on the list, we are having about 19 countries around the world who had applied officially, and they have received their applications. It's all a matter of time for them to be confirmed whether they are being accepted in the BRICS or not. But so far we're having 19 countries. So if you take these 19 countries, if they accept them to be part of the BRICS, they'll be called as a BRICS Plus. So this BRICS Plus, if you put them together with the 5 BRICS countries, in total we'll be having about 24 countries already. Now, you'll say, why do they have to be that much? Here's one simple reason, because I believe this question will come across your mind only if you have to think of such big organization as a G7, G20, so on and so on. The difference between BRICS with all these groups is that BRICS, they are willing to collect each and every country around the world that want to get rid of the USA and the NATO countries. So regardless of how small your country it is, BRICS, they are hands open to welcome you. They are willing to have you and respect you, regardless of how small your country it is, because they want to have everyone. Do you know why? Because people who are in this group, I mean countries which are in this group, majority of them, they are enemies number one to the US with NATO countries. So they have realized that since G7, NATO countries, G20, all these organizations, they kind of like, they are so picky. They take the countries that they want to hook up with. They choose the countries that have leaders that they want to they enjoy like chilling around with in their meetings. On other side, BRICS, for them, they believe that no, it is about time. They just take all these countries because it is indeed going to benefit them, and that's the reason why you see they are busy extending this group until it becomes even more bigger. But what will happen next after they had become a very big group which have a lot of countries inside it? Well, the mission is that they want to make sure that they finish up with the West. The mission is that they want to make sure that the US dollar disappear in the market and the world will have a new currency. A currency that will have to trade with it. A currency that will not going to be used against other countries as a easy way to blackmail them, as we get to see with the US dollar. If you do something that they don't like, if you go against their willing, and they have to punch you with their currency, they have to put sanctions on you. We saw it with many countries around the world. We're having countries such as Zimbabwe, until today they're still under sanctions. We're having countries such as Venezuela, they're still also under sanctions. What about Russia? Recently they even blocked all the Russia assets. All the money that Russia had, they block it. That is how they enjoy doing these things. That's how they like to do it. So you understand that the game here, actually China, Russia, they are making sure that they get their revenge on the US by eliminating what could be one of their weapons that they get to use around the world. And to make things easy for them, it will be only if they have to go ahead and associate all the countries around the world that want to join them. So that the next things, when the US president or NATO leaders, they stand somewhere and speak, trying to send their message to the world, is not going to have an impact, because everyone will be sorted by then. I mean, everyone will be like, okay, I'm fine, I don't care. Even if they chase me out of the house, I have a place to sleep. That it is actually their plans, and they are succeeding so far. So guys, let's wait and see what will happen in this BRICS summit. We will keep you updated of everything that will be happening, everything that they'll be discussing. We'll be coming back again here and try to give you also our point of view and discuss everything in details. So if you don't want to miss any of this interesting topic that we'll be giving you this week, you just have to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, give us your thumbs up. We'll really do appreciate, because here we do educate the mass, we do discuss about different topics that is taking place in Africa continent, because we are here for Africa. So for now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.